You have just entered into podcast number 268. Are you absolutely crazy, weird, over the top, fanatical, and creepy about roadblock removal? If not, I will show you how. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. We have a jamming podcast for you. I've just finished preparing this, and we are going to get going. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about roadblocks. So this week is all about the flow series. So you've heard me talk about flow. You've heard me talk about these concepts before, but not in this depth. So we're going to really expand our minds, and we're going to get to a point where we understand that the most important thing in construction is flow. Everything that we talk about in lean leads to flow. Everything, 100%. That's how we make our money. That's how we make our schedules. That's how we make, people successful. It's all about flow. And so I just, the definition of lean is flow. Even the things that I talk about where I say respect for people and resources, creating stable environments that flow, that bring problems to the surface, total participation with visual systems, and continuous improvement and absolute fanatical quality. All of those things create flow. Pre-construction creates flow. Pre-coordination creates flow. Cleanliness creates flow. Organization creates flow. Everything is here to create flow. We need to plan it, clear it, and finish it. In fact, there's a really neat saying that I don't think I came up with it, but I definitely stole it and revamped it when I heard it. It's called, it says, plan it first, build it right, and finish as you go. Plan it first, build it right, finish as you go. And I could, this is so corny. I just came up with this, but you could almost say, plan it first, build it right, finish as you go, let's flow. Sorry, so corny. So there's this song called Let's Go by Calvin Harris, and I love that song. I love it. And I keep playing it over and over and over. The reason I giggle is because my kids are like, Dad, stop playing that song. But that's kind of like the Elevate Construction model. Like, let's go. Let's get this done. So plan it first, build it right, finish as you go. We're going to talk about how roadblocks do that in the flow series, and you're going to love this podcast tonight. So first of all, Elevate Construction. We do project recovery, training, consulting. If you know of anybody who is interested in that or needs that, please let me know. There's some cool things. Anyway, from an expansion standpoint, I want to talk to you about some cool things here in a little bit, but I don't want to give away the surprise. But lots of cool things coming. We will be able to increase more and more capacity. We've got some other key web pages and services coming online that is just going to be really great. So I'm excited about that. Also, if you have a question or want to attend a boot camp, please reach out to me at jason@elevateconstructionist.com or reach out to me at my phone number at 602-571-8987. And like I said before, I'm trusting you to give out my contact information. Please don't kill my whole family or slash my tires. So let's just go ahead and get this done. So what am I excited about? I have really, all right. So the first, so I've done, wow, I can't even talk tonight. Sorry, everybody. I'm just so excited. I can't even talk. So I've done lots and lots of really remarkable boot camps for companies, hiring on specifically with them. This is the first Superintendent boot camp that I'm hosting, and we've already got 16 key participants, and that's really great. We can go all the way up to 24 if you're looking for just a great event to come kick off the rest of your year with and really take it to the next level. So here's why I'm excited about boot camp. We've got laser lights. We've got music. We've got full DJ. We've got 4 big screen TVs put together. We've got tables. We've got a horseshoe area. We've got specific props. We've got simulations. We've got learning. We've got packets. We've got, the whole thing. I've even got a stink, like I've told you before, like scents that we use in there. Great food, snacks, hotel, this whole thing. Well, hold on. So we're also going to take the participants to a job tour of some lean projects here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I am jacked about this. Now, jacked for some of you means like high on drugs. What it means for me is like I'm high on life. If you took it the other way, maybe you want to rethink where you live or rethink your life a little bit. But anyway, so I am super, super excited about camp. Every time we do this, I work on making it better. All preparations are just full scale underway, and we're going to make that happen in a remarkable way. So that's what I'm excited about right now. So it's on May 17th, 18th, and the 19th. We're going to have, graduation and then taking people to those lean projects. At noon, people will be able to go to the airport and fly out. So I will return a report, but I promise you when I'm done reporting, I will have lost my voice and I will be exhausted. So I'm hopefully going to have some podcasts recorded ahead of time, so something like Friday doesn't happen again. All right, so let's get on to some fans and some feedback. So here's what they said. Hi, Jason. I listened to 18, 40, 48, and 50. It's good stuff, man. Thanks for sharing. My company has started sending these podcast recommendations to everyone. I think you might have had some interaction with our team of superintendents. I am much more of a people person than many others in the same industry. I applaud your efforts to elevate the construction industry. Yeah, really appreciate that feedback. And, I'm a people person and I'm hoping to, change the world with this. And so one of the main things that I'm doing is keeping this podcast interesting. So I need feedback. I want topics. I want questions. I want to make sure that we're heading in that direction. So this week we're going to do the flow series, and then I'm going to really get into some of the other really neat concepts of how to drive production. We're going to talk about some advanced time management techniques. I've got a whole list of other things. I think we need to get another war series in here coming up pretty soon, so stay with us. Here's the conflict. You're not removing roadblocks like you should. Let's go ahead and I want to talk about three little things. So flow, let's talk about flow. In order for something to flow, it has to be planned that way. We have to clear the path and we have to finish as we go. It sounds, and so there are other things like limiting work in progress, one piece flow. The Judoka, I'm not even saying Judoka principle, where everyone needs to know what winning looks like and see together as we go to make improvements. So there's a lot to this, but tonight we're going to talk about, or this is for you in the morning, but we're going to talk about roadblock removal. So if you've heard some of my other podcasts, you've heard me talk about General Patton and the donkeys. So in the movie Patton, which I recommend, watch that movie. It's fantastic. He is great. He knows how to create flow in the military. And so there's this scene where there's this column of tanks and war vehicles and supply trucks and all of these things. And it's all stalled behind a bridge. And Patton drives up with his personal assistant. I don't know. I don't think it's an aide de camp. It's I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to have to find out what the name of personal assistant, like the right-hand person to the general. So he's driving up there. The other person's driving the vehicle, and he's like, take me down there all the way to the end. He gets to this bridge. And I don't know if donkeys were injured in the making of this movie, but let's pretend that they weren't. Let's just say they weren't. So he gets down there and he's like, what the HE double hockey sticks is the matter with you? You're going to let a column of vehicles get strafed by enemy aircraft because of a couple of jackasses? Now, quote unquote, I'm not cussing because that's what you actually call donkeys. But so he pulls out his, it's not a, I don't think it's a pearl. It's ivory. I think they're ivory plated pistols. So he pulls them out, cocks them, shoots both of them in the head. And he says, now dump these things over the side and clear this bridge. And the owner of the donkeys is screaming, no, no, no. But the bottom line is, what's more important? The donkeys or the column of vehicles that were getting strafed. And so he knew we cannot allow roadblocks to get in our way. The other thing is, General Patton talked about there's a couple of things that affect our defeat in war, and then I'm going to liken it to construction. Enemy, what do they call that? Gunfire, sorry. And then the exposure of time that we have to enemy gunfire. And so what he said was the rapidity or the flow of our advance can reduce our exposure. So he knew if there's something in our way and we're waiting now, and now we have all of these other wastes and we're prolonging the project, then we're losing. Like, we're under enemy fire. And I really like that analogy. Let me give you another one. Imagine an old train with that little triangular shaped thing on the front of it, and a train going down the tracks. And there were old movies about it. Maybe your kids have watched Thomas the Tank Engine. It's called a cow catcher because cows used to cross the tracks, or they may have even died on the tracks. But the thought is that this thing would clear the tracks so that the train could get through. So it was called a cow catcher. So imagine in this analogy, it's not donkeys and a war column, it's cows and a train, right? We need something to clear the tracks for the train. Let's do one more. When I'm out at the lake with the kids and it's really a windy day, sometimes, so when behind, and I'm sure all of you know this, but behind the boat, there's what's called a wake. And the wake, there's two waves behind the boat where the boat has basically cut a path through the waves, and now it's pretty clear behind it, and there's these two waves that start to V out in an exponential pattern behind the boat. And so if I'm heading home and it's like really windy, I'll get into the wake behind another boat. Like, they will break the waves and I'll stay in their clear path. And I've seen on some stormy events that you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats, and everyone's staying behind their wakes because it's clearing the path. Drafting cars, the first sled dog clearing the path for the other sled dogs. I mean, imagine whatever analogy you want, but we have to clear the path for work that's coming our way, especially if we've planned it in a flow, and we know that we have the ability to win with production and money. And so you think of what is your story for roadblock removal? What is your analogy? What is your mental image? What is your visual? Because I want you to have that in order to be successful. Now, let me rant just a little bit. I do love Last Planner, and we are too focused on PPC. PPC is percent plan complete. So, or percent of promises complete. And a lot of people will talk about it like it's the saving day or the saving grace. And I'm telling you, if I had a wish, please, everyone, take down your percent plan complete boards, take down your variance tracking, get rid of it on your software, stop printing the reports, don't talk about it, take it off your agendas until you have the most fanatical, crazy, weird, over the top, like, manager's going to call me freaked out because this is over the top, like, roadblock removal system. Roadblocks are the things that are going to get in your way. Constraints are the things that you have to deal with, right? And those are semi-permanent or permanent. But roadblocks, we need to be identifying and removing them at a shorter amount of time. And we need to be bringing all problems to the surface. And so if a project team has a percent plan complete chart and a variance tracker and a pie chart showing the percentages, and they don't have a roadblock removal system, I automatically know that team has a long way to go to understand what they're doing. Now, if you think I'm being insulting, I apologize. I'm just telling you that there's a difference between an offensive game and a defensive game. A very, very wise leader once told me, he was like, Jason, percent plan complete is a lagging indicator system, and the roadblock removal is a leading indicator system. Leading indicators means if you do this and the indicator shows that you're having success with this, you can actually lead out in the success of this effort. Lagging is, did we win? Did we not win? Did we suck, right? So I don't care how bad we sucked, and only very infrequently will we be able to start to see trends and then actually do something about it. Like, I have never, and somebody might say, Jason, you're not doing it right, but I have never, and I've toured a lot of projects, seen a lot of lean, and taken a lot of courses. I have never in my life ever seen somebody track percent plan complete and the variances therefrom, and then translate that data into actionable steps that would actually lead that team to greater amounts of success. I've never seen them do it. It just doesn't translate because people just don't think like that. And even if you did, if you're like, oh, we're having layout problems, well, we already knew we needed to have right layout. So what is knowing that we sucked later on when we already knew we sucked? We already knew we needed to fix layout. So it's very rare that somebody sees percent plan complete and the variances and tracks that and then says, I'm going to go do something differently. Most of the time, the only way to really increase production and productivity on a project site is the creation of flow and identifying roadblocks. And roadblocks are tricky in the sense that most of the time they're always different. And so we have to approach this from a different angle. So we need to have as our number one priority the removal of roadblocks on our site. And if you're a project executive, director, general superintendent, project manager, I'm telling you, as somebody who loves you, I'm telling you as your coach, if this isn't priority one for you, then you have room to grow. It needs to be priority one. So let's talk about some principles. We've covered in the last podcast, it's not about crew production. It's about all the transitions. It's about the roadblocks. It's about the stoppages. It's about missing information. It's about RFIs. It's about all of these things. And so to prove my point between percent plan complete and roadblocks, the roadblock removal ahead of time, it does us no good. It has already impacted the work if we're tracking it after the fact. We need to be seeing the future and anticipating and finding these roadblocks out ahead of time as much as humanly possible. And so if we want to track something on a project site, track the amount of roadblocks the team is coming up with, and then track the average duration of time it takes them to resolve them. If you want to track something, that would be great. A third metric that I would encourage is about how far out you're starting to see a considerable amount of roadblocks, and you can trend that. And if you can get out to 6 weeks, boy, pat yourself on the back because you're doing a great job. So just like I would say in financial reviews, and I didn't actually come up with this, this was a CFO at a company I recently visited. Instead of reviewing financials on a project from a strictly production standpoint, let's not review the financials. Let's review the risk and opportunity register. Let's review the in-betweens. Let's review rework. Let's review all the things that held us up and prevent it from there. So that's what we have to do. It's not about crew production. It's about the transition. So let's make sure we're planning and anticipating problems with the transitions. It's all about the interruptions and preventing those. We have to clear the path. It's just like the boat. It's just like the train. It's just like Patton with the donkeys, whatever we want to look at. So to recap, plan the flow. And then once we've planned a flow, now we need to lock everybody in and start anticipating problems. So when I say that step number 2 in lean is creating stable environments where with flow that brings roadblocks to the surface, what I'm talking about is that creating stability brings roadblocks to the surface. And in fact, well, actually, let me just do this. I've talked to you before about the river of waste analogy not serving us properly. I don't like the way it's currently talked about in the lean industry, meaning that there's a boat, which is the work, the flow unit, and the water is, resources. The rocks under the water are roadblocks, and what we're trying to do is move that boat down the river, right? It's not the lowering of the water level that allows us to see the roadblocks. It's the stabilizing of the water level. If you have low water levels, if that river is going too fast, or if it's still wavy, or if it's still stormy out, you can't see that enough time to get rid of it. And even if you could see them, if it's going too fast, you don't have time to remove them. So that's why I liken clear, calm streams, which we can create in construction. Don't let anybody tell you differently. You can create that are going at a steady pace. Then when you see the roadblocks, you have time to go around them or remove them. So here's what I'm saying. It isn't until you create a clean site that you can see roadblocks. It's not until you create a safe site. It's not until you create an organized site, because once you get rid of the chaos and now you have stability, now you can start to see things that will hold you up. And so once you have a site with flow, once you have a site with commitments where we hold the dates, once you have a site where we treasure our risk and opportunity register more than just our financial projections, that's when you're able to see roadblocks and remove them. Here's what I mean by this. In CPM, and yes, I'm going to take another opportunity to bag on CPM, but nobody can really see where they're supposed to be, so nobody really worries about it because everybody's just going to do whatever the heck they want to do anyway. But when you say, here's a Takt plan that we have created together and we're holding these dates, and if you're not finished, you're going to work Saturday or we're going to go into a recovery meeting, then they're like, as soon as they can see what you expect of them, what they have already expected from themselves through an integrated planning cycle, That's when they raise their hand. They're like, whoa, 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 I can't. Hey, whoa, I've got a problem. This is wrong. I don't have the materials. My shop said this. I'm missing manpower, whatever. As soon as you commit somebody, that's when they're going to have trouble. So let's liken this to dating. And I don't know if I've said this before. Heck, this is podcast 268. Give me a break. But so you're not going to get a lot of pushback from your girlfriend or your boyfriend. But then once you do what Beyonce says and try and put a ring on it, then they really have to think, can I do this? Am I going to do this? And then if there are problems, that's when they're like, I just don't know if I'm ready. I need time to talk to my parents. I want to talk to my son. But what about, I just think we need to spend some more time together. I don't know if we're financially ready. Once you commit somebody, that's when all the problems are going to come to the surface. So that's the thing. If we want roadblocks to rise to the surface, we have to commit people. And so once you have a clean site, a safe site, an organized site, a site with flow, and commitments that are visually seen by everybody, that's when they're going to start to bring up problems. So you have that whiny electrician, that whiny mechanical contractor, that whiny steel contractor, and you're like, they're just constantly, cuss wording at me every day. Treasure them. Go home right now, or wherever you are. Stop the car. Your whiniest trade partner on your side. I want you to get on your knees, and whether you pray to nature or God or whatever, or you worship yourself, whatever, get on your knees and thank God and say, Dear God, I thank thee for having these trade partners that are complaining about what's in their way, because thou knowest that I can now remove them and create flow. That's the prayer. And in the name of construction, amen. Let's get this done. Go thank God for those trade partners. They are your biggest allies. They are your biggest assets. They are giving you the key to success. Basically, if you were I just want to know how to win in construction. I wish some angel would pop out of the sky, out of heaven, and tell me what I should do to fix this. Your trade partner's already told you. That whiny electrician foreman over there that constantly tells you what's wrong, that you think's just being negative, that's your angel. Probably didn't follow this guy. Don't even know if he took a shower recently, but he just gave you the key to the universe and all of the inspiration and wisdom you need to finish that project, because that's the key. Get rid of their problems. Once you commit them, they will start to tell you what their problems are, and then it's just like duck hunt. I don't know. I feel like maybe I've talked about this before in a podcast. If I have, somebody let me know, because I definitely don't want to be repeating myself. I feel like we're going deeper in this, but Duck Hunt was a little Nintendo game that I played when I was a kid. So there's this little gray box hooks up to your TV. The little cord comes out to a little gun, and then in the video game, and I don't know how they did this, because how does the video game know where the TV screen is in space? Something's weird here. I don't even know how this technology works now that I think about it. But anyway, you point the gun at the screen, and the ducks, if you hit a duck, it kills the duck. It's called duck hunt. And so you're trying to kill as many ducks as you possibly can. So that duck hunt, roadblock removal is like duck hunt. You want to create an environment where people know that they are loved, they are praised, they are valued, that they are an honored and valuable member of your team when they bring roadblocks to the surface, and you can systematically remove them in a short amount of time. I don't know if you got that. I have way too many kids. I watch kids' cartoons all the time, and there's this one called The Penguins of Madagascar. And anyway, I'm going to bore you with this. But anyway, the cute little private penguin, there's three other penguins. They're super funny. So it's Skipper, Kowalski, and Rico, and they're talking to Private, the other penguin, the fourth penguin, and they're like, if you could have anything you want, what would it be? And then Private's like, to be a valued and respected member of this team. And they're like, well, we got you something else. So it's a cute movie. If you want to watch it, check it out. But you are the most valuable member of your team if you bring roadblocks to the surface so that the general contractor can remove them. I praise thee. You're the best. And if you know somebody that does this, that's the whiny superintendent, the whiny foreman in your team meetings, send this podcast to them and say, I congratulate you. I praise thee. So we have to be asking we have to know what the problems are and asking every day, what can get on our way and is work made ready? Sometimes we put stickies up on the wall for different tasks, but we don't, we don't ask, well, is the RFI, are the RFIs ready? Are the materials ready? Are the approvals ready? Are the permits ready? Do I have manpower for that? Do I have all the information? Do I have the shop drawings for that? Do I have everything for that? And we need to be asking really, really deep, in-depth questions. And I would even recommend right now that when in your weekly work planning meeting area or your trade partner, your last planner meeting area, wherever you are, have a list of questions of what work being made ready actually means. And just have that full print and have some questions on there. Do you have the manpower for this? Is your start date confirmed? Do you have the materials? Will they be here just in time? Do you have all the information? Do you have all the layout? Do you have all of these things? And so I really think we need to get our culture headed in that direction in order for us to be successful. So we need to be preparing work every day. So here are some systems you can use. So if you have the afternoon foreman huddle with your foreman planning the next day, and then you communicate to your workers in the morning and you ask for their feedback, then you should be meeting with your project team and the project manager at like 9 o'clock, 8 a.m. I was kidding with a project manager the other day. I was like, when do you show up? He's like, yeah, 1. Like, just, he knew what I was getting at. He was teasing at me. But whenever your project manager shows up, schedule that time every day for your team huddle. And it should be plan the next day, communicate the plan and get feedback, take the roadblocks to the team for Fanatical Roadblock Removal, execute the day, plan the next day, communicate to the workers, then bring those roadblocks to your project manager, execute. You get what I'm saying. That's a cycle. And if you can do something remarkable where you keep your, whether you call it your constraint log, your roadblock list, your visual roadblock maps, your blue beam roadblock maps, whatever it is, in one location to where everybody can see it. And it's like your scoreboard, like, yeah, let's do this. Why not have, and this is where you're going to say, oh, this podcast was worth the time. When you hear Nicholas Modig talk about the Judoka principle, about how everybody can see the scoreboard, and he likens it to soccer, how everybody knows right away if they're winning or not. Do you have a scoreboard at a central location for your entire project site to see where you can see all of the things that are going to hold you up, all of the possible problems, and you're tracking those things that I already told you about? How many roadblocks are we coming up with on a daily basis that should either remain steady or increase? What is the average amount of time it takes to resolve them to clear work, right? And are we tracking those things appropriately so that we know that we can head in a good direction? Now that I think about it, I'm stalling here because I can't remember the third metric. Can anybody remember so the first metric was the amount of roadblocks, the time it takes to remove them. Dang it. Anyway, that's going to come to me. Anyway, that's super annoying. I'm in a podcast and you're making me look bad memory. You're killing me here. So if we want to have like really good systems, let's track some of those things. I think that's fantastic. So keep everything in one location. And track how long it takes. Track how many of those, how many you're coming up with on a week-to-week basis. And you can also track which ones were unforeseen that actually ended up impacting work versus seen ahead of time. So focus on prevention. If anybody remembers that third metric, what in the world is wrong with me? Anyway, so even quality, like if you think about the 6-step quality process, 5-step quality process, what do we always talk about? We talk about the work that we're going to do. These people have done this work over and over and over. What should we be talking about? The possible problems or deviations from quality, the possible problems or deviations from schedule, the possible problems or deviations from safety. What could happen to interrupt the work? Okay, that's what we should be talking about, okay? And so we need to change our behaviors. So here are some behaviors that I recommend strongly. If you're a PM, Super, or PX, every day, focus on the removal of roadblocks as your number one priority. If you're a PM with multiple projects or a Super with multiple projects, call in and discuss with all of your jobs any possible roadblocks that they might have that's going to prevent work. Make roadblock removal the most fanatical, crazy, important You're obsessed with it. You think about it when you're sleeping. Your wife makes you birthday cupcakes with roadblock removal on the top of it. Your car has roadblock removal bumper stickers. You have roadblock removal underwear. You have roadblock removal pillow covers. I mean, you've named your first son Roadblock, or at least his initials are RR. This is getting stupid. Okay, like if you were going to donate money to a hospital, it'd be like the Roadblock Removal Cancer Center. Like, you need to have roadblock removal as like your top priority. Make it a game somehow. Make it fun. I don't know how you're going to do it. But if you come up with an idea on how to gamify roadblock removal, give me a call. We'll partner on it, patent the idea, and sell it for a ton of money and make a game. So give me a call. Business partners, I'll give you my phone number here in a minute. Don't tell anybody else, because we got to get speed to market on that thing. So to recap, problems come when you commit somebody. And commitment comes from seeing and knowing. And seeing and knowing comes from visual schedules and stable environments. It's just like that water analogy. You're not going to remove roadblocks by lowering the water level. You're going to remove, or even if you do, you're not going to do it very often. But you will be able to see and remove roadblocks by stabilizing the flow, the speed of the water, and the stability of the water. Now, let me say this. If you have trade partners that don't like Takt planning, then I know what the problem is. They are the most unaccountable people that you're going to be around. I always tell people, if you start Takt planning, your best contractors are going to be the ones that love them. And anybody that hates Takt planning, whether it's the owner or the trades, are the ones that don't want to be held accountable. They don't like it. They're not used to it. They don't like everybody's dirt being up out in the open. They don't want people to see what's going on. And in fact, some people are like, Takt planning doesn't work. There's problems everywhere. No, people. Takt planning works because it's bringing up the problems that were always there that you never saw. And that's good. So we have to get our culture wrapped around the concept that seeing every project has problems. Even if you're Chuck Norris, you have problems. I hope he doesn't come out of the corner and kill me. I think we're safe. But even Chuck Norris has problems, right? There's probably only one person that never had like serious problems. Every project has problems. Every person has problems. Every organization has problems. Every system has problems. Every office has problems. Every marriage has problems. Every child. every person has mental problems. Everybody has problems. How stupid is it of us as human beings to try and hide the fact that we have problems? Everybody has problems. Bring those problems to the surface and fanatically remove those roadblocks. When people start to talk about metrics, I always get cringy because they're like, yeah, we're going to track safety metrics and we're going to track quality metrics and we're going to track blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, this job's doing great. Their safety observations have reduced. Whoa. I have never heard of anything dumber than that in my entire life. You will never ever on any project anywhere get to a point where you don't have problems. We have to shift our thinking. You have to incentivize your people to find those problems and to fix them. Now, we don't want to incentivize teams to have problems and not fix them. We want to incentivize teams to find their problems and fix them with a shorter, smaller latency, a shorter duration of time. And so when people say they're going to track safety metrics, I'm like, great. The job that is finding and fixing more safety observations is doing better. The project that is finding and fixing more quality observations is doing better. You get one. I'm not even going to waste your time. But here's my point. That's where we have to go. Because I have to say one more time, if somebody's like, Jason, why does flow matter? I get it's this nice thing. Flow allows our manpower counts to reduce, our material inventory counts to reduce. And when we do that, that directly prevents all of the 8 wastes. Because when we're overproducing with extra manpower and extra materials and creating inventory, that creates all of the other ones. It creates transportation, motion, defects, overprocessing, waiting, and the unused genius of the team, not using the genius of the team. And those are directly tied to money. That is where we're losing our money. And so when people are like, why is flow such a big deal? Everything comes down to flow. If a project engineer wants to be more effective at work, one-piece flow, baby. If we want to have better project sites from a material logistics standpoint, the flow of the materials coming to the site. We want to make more money with production. It's all about flow. So one more time, with flow, you have to plan with flow, you have to remove the roadblocks, and then you have to finish as we go and limit work in progress and espouse a concept called one-piece flow. And so I hope this podcast has helped you because the current condition is we are just even by, so there's a couple things. Let me say this to close this out, right? People say, and I believe it, if you say, hey, Johnny, don't fall off the bike, or don't tank that play, or don't fumble the football, or don't hit that pole, what are they focused on? Every human being to be in state needs to have focus, physiology, and the right language. And so if they're focused on the wrong things, they're more likely to fail. What are we telling people to focus on when we talk so much about the critical path and about percent plan complete and things like that? No. We are not focused on those things. We are focused on flow. If you don't have a critical path, you don't need one. And if you have one, that's stupid. Focus on the critical flow. Focus on the prevention of problems. Focus on clearing the path ahead of that flow. Do not focus on how bad we sucked. Do not focus on like some imaginary path that determines the success of the job. Focus on creating flow everywhere we are on the project. And this podcast has talked about how to do that with roadblock removal. And so the current condition is we are focused on the wrong things. We are caught up in the mire and the busyness of CPM and all of these wasted systems. We're caught up in the mire and the busyness of not having personal organization systems. We're caught up in the busyness and the mire of having inconsistent schedules with a lot of chaos. Just think about it, and I'll leave you with this. As soon as somebody says, you as a trade partner or you as a GC, when you say, hey, instead of coming Monday, can you come Thursday? The calls, the scheduling, the reroutes, the materials, the additional equipment, the coordination, the telling other owners, the adjusting crew counts to make sure that you have 2 crews to take care of it. I could just keep going on and on. Consideration after consideration after consideration. Just one little change will ripple throughout all of the supply chains in construction and cause so much chaos that then here's the secret. Here's what nobody knows. It burdens your team. If somebody's like, yeah, I can make CPM dance like nobody else's. I can use percent plan complete and we can get some data out of it. Or yeah, I can change the schedule. We can gain 2 days on that area. That's great. I love it. But I don't love it because guess what? You have a project management team and you have trade partners and you have foremen, you have workers that only have so much capacity. Your workers and your project management team run out of mental discipline by 11 a.m. in the morning. And so all of this chaos is reducing their ability to focus on what will bring the biggest amount of return and are removing our ability to remove roadblocks. When we're taking all day to plan with CPM, we're not removing roadblocks. When we're tracking percent plan complete when we shouldn't be, we have less capacity to remove roadblocks. When we're out there dealing with chaos on an unclean site and babysitting people and not using zero tolerance, we have less capacity to remove roadblocks. So you see what I'm saying here? It's all about capacity. When somebody's like, well, Jason, you do your little fancy Takt planning and I can do a CPM schedule in 12 weeks. It's just as good. I'm like, why would you want to do that? And there's crickets. Like, I wish I had a cricket noise right here with me so I could record it. Crickets. Like, why? Well, because we get all this worthless data that we're never able to use on a corporate level. That absolutely gives us no value whatsoever. I think just real quick, I said that was the last thing, but let's think about why are CPM schedules so valuable? Because it does short interval scheduling. Nope, Last Planner does that better. Oh, because it shows our critical path. Nope, doesn't have a critical path, doesn't show one, we shouldn't have one. Not buying it. Oh, because it spits out such good metrics. Which ones? The flow trends that aren't real because the schedule is not complete and it's a big old guess? Or what? What are we talking about? Days behind substantial completion? How much we're faking ourselves? Well, like what metrics do we want to track here? Don't need them. Don't need any of the corporate metrics. I don't need one single corporate metric from P6. So what things does CPM help us do that I'm not able to do in another system. Well, it's able to get all of the schedule in there. Yep, don't need that because it's a wild guest. I need the high level, and I need last planner and Scrum to take over with the short interval. I can't think, and neither can you, so don't tell me that it's my experience. I can't think of one single reason why CPM helps us at all. I don't need anything that it provides. I don't need anything that it provides. Even the different ways to filter information, even the precedence diagram, right? Even all of these different reports, even the Power BI spitouts, even the risk analyses. I don't need any of it. Because if I was going to recover a project, I would just go back to creating flow anyway, and I can't see that in P6. So, or in CPM, sorry. Oracle is going to sue me. So here's my point. After all of that, even if you could use CPM as a tool, why would you want to take the time that it takes in 12 weeks to do it versus taking, like, let's just do like a conservative analysis. Let's say it took you 3 days to do a Takt plan, and it took 12 times 5 is 60 days. 60 divided by 3 days, 20 times longer. 20 times longer to create a CPM schedule versus a Takt plan in its worst case scenario. That's 12 weeks of time that you didn't have. That's 12 weeks of capacity that you didn't use in planning long lead materials. That's 20 weeks of time that you didn't plan, that you weren't using planning the exterior. That's 20 weeks of time that you weren't planning on planning elevators. That's 20 weeks of time you weren't planning flow. That's 20 weeks of time you weren't planning and clearing work. That's 20 weeks of time you weren't building your team. That's 20 weeks of time you weren't asking the owner what they wanted. That's 20 weeks of time that you weren't taking care of your designers and creating a remarkable pre-construction experience. This is ridiculous, people. We have to create capacity for our teams. I don't want them bogged down with a 4 or 5 hour CPM update and doing daily updates with that thing, and then going around trying to print and translate that damn thing. I don't want them spending the time. And then I only want us doing short interval planning with Last Planner at the appropriate locations on site, and then everything else should be in a rhythm with Takt. And once you do that, roadblocks are gonna come to the surface. Here's my last point, and this is my third last point. How often has somebody said, I've just done a detailed analysis of your CPM schedule, and here's 56 roadblocks? Not going to happen, never happened, it didn't happen, and it doesn't happen because nobody can see what's going on. But you get that team committed to a Takt plan, and you'll have everybody knocking on your door why they can't make it happen. And that is the time where you start to take care of those. You start playing duck hunt. You clear the path. You make sure they are able to do it. You get them in a flow. You go win, and you make a ton of money. Any company out there, if you switch over to Takt planning and start driving these, like some of these cool companies out there that I'm working with, I promise you're going to make a ton of money. And actually, for the rest of you all that love CPM, actually, I encourage you. I think you should use it. I think you should keep using it, because the clients that are working with me with Takt planning are going to make so much money, and they're going to make raving fans, and they're going to get more and more work, and you're going to make me look better. So actually, I'm going to change my message. As long as you find a way to rotate crews and you're not hurting workers, I hope you do use CPM, and I hope you just keep having tank jobs and you lose a ton of money, so that the people that are creating flow and have the best way of taking care of their workers can get all the work. So there we go. I'll make a deal with you. You keep using CPM. I got 2 thumbs up right here for you. You keep doing it. So whatever you use, even if you're in this whole, I'm contractually obligated to use it. Okay, fine. But you have to start with Takt. So if you're if you have to go out there and do it, at least get the flow, plan the flow, and prevent any eruptions to the flow that you possibly can, and track your success with that by removing roadblocks, right? And so you can't manage what you can't measure. And if you measure it, and you measure the rate of improvement, then you will get remarkable results. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.